Oh. Good.
evening. My name's Alex Jones, it's all gone wrong for me. That'd be great if he looked like that now, wouldn't it? What have you been up to, Alex? Well, I've been to a few parties, you know what I mean? Oh. So, you alright? Yes, I'm Bill Bailey, and I'm a bit of a nutter magnet. As I can see by some of you. I tend to attract them. I don't know what it is. There's something about me. I don't know. I suppose it's the kind of gigs I do. I do a lot of festivals. I play a lot of festivals, a lot of rock festivals. And anyone been to any rock festivals? Have you? Good. Have you been to Glastonbury? Yes, you see, Glastonbury, the king of all festivals. And this year, no festival. What's going to happen? Oh dear. 60,000 hippies are going to turn up in the middle of the field and go, yeah, brilliant, we got in. No thanks. Hold on a minute, where's all the bands gone? So, you know, they'll have to have the solstice somewhere, won't they? You know, it'll be Gordano Services car park, won't it? They go, not quite as spiritual, but I tell you what, we've got a little chef and some lovely toilets. You see, for those of you who don't know about festivals, or Glastonbury Festival in particular, what you have to do, you have to get over this big fence, right, to get in. That's the whole point of going. You know, never mind what happens inside, it's a bit of a competitive sport, you know. And a couple of years ago, some people, very ingenious, they tunnelled in, right, they tunnelled right under the fence. And the fence, you know, was sort of like, surrounds all these sort of, you know, campsites. And so the tunnel came up in a two-man tent, like that, which is a brilliant idea. But I felt a bit sorry for all the poor bastards who were tripping off their edge, watching all these hundreds of people coming out of this one tent. Sitting watching it like that going, that's not right, man. That's not right. And one of them would be going, no, it must be like the TARDIS, right? It must be massive inside. You wait, we watch it long enough, it's going to take off in a minute. 4 days we watch that, they watch that. Yes, it's marvellous, it is a gigantic nutter fest. And this bloke came up to me, and he's striding out of the apocalyptic murk, and he came up to me and he said, I am an inventor. And I went, oh, right, well, you know, good luck to you, man. And he said, well, I say inventor, I'm more sort of drug dealer, really. Yeah. You can go on the way, can't you? You know. It's a bit tragic, really. A couple of years ago, I invented a machine that can roll 42 joints in 0.8 seconds, and I haven't really done much since then. You know. Last couple of years have been a bit of a blur, really, to be honest. I said, we've got to try and sort yourself out, haven't you? You know, work on a project. And he goes, well, I'm working on a project at the moment, right? I'm trying to turn fairy liquid back into solid fairy. So what are you talking about? It's washing up liquid. And he goes, no. It's elves and goblins melted down to form liquid. It's everywhere! Elf petrol! What do you think that is? Yeah. The Glastonbury has a senior side, and I was always reminded of this once a few years ago. I was sitting watching the Orb, and, well, I say watching the Orb, you know, just listening to some blokes playing a tape, you know, they went to the beer tent, they won't know, they said, are they on? Are they on? There's these two Brummie lads, right, and they were just real Glastonbury casualties, right, you know, they had like one espadrille between the two of them, you know. One of them was just like banging his stick on the ground like that. And the other one was desperately trying to roll a joint with the remains of a packet of Rizzlers. You know, he ripped every single bit of card off this Rizzler for Roach. And he was going, if I can just get that last bit of card up there like that. It was like playing Dope Kerplunk. You know what I mean? You know, if I could just get, you know, oh no, it explodes like that. And he pulls the Rizzlers out and they're all stuck together, concertinaed out like that. Quite beautiful. And I just looked at them, I thought, amateurs. They've run out of roach on the first day. See, what I do, I'm experienced like that, what I do, I use that giant bit of card you get at the back of shirts, right? That tends to last me the whole festival, you know. You feel a bit conspicuous, standing in the middle of the teepee field, opening a crisp white Marks and Spencer shirt. But it's great, you see. It's a brilliant, you know, it's a brilliant place, and there's some great stalls as well. The stalls make it; they're fantastic. There's one stall was brilliant. It was £10, your name on a grain of rice, right? Because you need that, don't you? In case there's any arguments around the flat about whose food it is, you know. No, man. Look, if you look closely. Yeah. And there was this bloke there, painstakingly painting these people's names on this grain of rice, like that. There's a queue of hippies there. What's your name, mate? Incantation. Oh, for goodness sake. Have to be long grain then, won't it? And there was a bloke next to him had a much better idea, right? Same principle, you know, snacks, names on snacks, but it was much better. It was £1, your name on a baked potato. It was just a bloke with a marker pen, you know, Bob, 10, food, name. He'd done 10, the bloke got his paints out. He was like, you know, I wish I'd thought of that. What's your name? Astral Magnet. Oh, God. Because you see, you wander around these stores and all these things that normally you wouldn't give a second glance to, they all appear to be slightly more attractive, you know, like all pots and like just what would normally be a pot. You go, look at that, it's a rubbish pot. And then you wander around a cup of mushroom tea, you go, that is a brilliant pot. Look at that. I've got to have that. That is fantastic. 80 quid, mate. Yeah, there you are. Yeah. All mobile, all made from bent spoons. Yeah. Yeah. All like a CD rack from Tractor Parts, yeah, oh yeah. And you buy all this stuff and you get it home and you think, brilliant, yeah, got on with Glastonbury stuff, and you look at it and you go, oh my God, so again. You have to hide it all away. Oh, I sort of stick it in a cupboard, the Glastonbury cupboard. You open out and all these pots and incense burners and all this stuff comes flooding out and you think, oh God, I don't know what I'm thinking of. Like I'm going to get back from a festival. Get all my gear on, right, okay, got my Jeff's hat on there, right, got my smock on, there we are, got my little Colombian hunting pouch, there we are, all my crystals, there we are, and my patchwork peasant trousers, got them on, right, got my gargoyle in a pot there, little lantern, right, got my little chillum on there, right, what do I have got? My carved Celtic rune shoes, there we are. Walking down the town like that, what are you looking at, mate? I've been to a festival, all right. Walking into the bank, morning. I'd like to open a personal equity pension scheme, please. Have you got any ID? Yes, on this bit of rice here.
Happy 420, everybody.
Yeah, you need a magnifying glass, obviously, but it's all there. Driving license, yeah, I had it set in
GTM plus one.
ring here. Nutters everywhere. Oh, there we are. I was in a pub, right, and this bloke came up to me and he said, excuse me, mate, would you like to buy a core design? I said, what's that then? And he said, well, the Yamaha PBX 500 represents a major breakthrough in mobile laundry appliance. It allows you to do your ironing when you want, how you want, and more importantly, where you want. With a 10-digit memory, a paging facility, and a range of up to 10 miles within the M25, clearly, this is the iron for the way we live today. I said, oh. Yeah, and I said, you're just reading that off a card. And he went, well, yeah, I am actually, yeah, you're quite right. I said, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear your sales pitch. I want to hear what you think about it. And he goes, all right, between you and me, Squire, I'll tell you what, right, stand on me, no mucking about, pack a rock, and the horse's mouth, not a word of a lie. But I tell you what, I said, get on with it, you irritating cockney. And he said, look, and his arm was going. He wasn't smoking, he was just going, his cockney arm going. I said, stop that! I had to pin his arm to his side like that, but the cockney waves went right through him, and he came out the other side, and he went, oh, and I pinned both his arms like that, and his legs were going, and he got all that through his body, and ping, evaporated, and then he was all right. And I said, I want to hear the Sturm und Drang. And he said, Sturm und Drang? What's that? I said, it's a play by Burkoff, you probably would have heard of it. And he said, don't patronise me, you long-haired git, I might have done, he's that skinhead geezer, swears a lot. And I said, you can't dismiss Burkoff purely in those terms. Held my head back for effect like that. I said, Burkoff, he's the quintessential zeitgeist. He is the eponymous weevil, nibbling away at the bread of mainstream theatre. And he said, you're just reading that off a book of Burkoff plays. Well, I am actually, yeah, quite right, yeah. And there was a bit of bonding, we bonded, a bit of finger bonding, like that. And before you could say homoerotic subtext, right, before you could say that, a feminist jumped up out of nowhere. She just appeared in a cloud of smoke. She jumped up out of a manhole, and she didn't like that. Oh, she didn't like that. She didn't like that because it totally undermined her whole premise, didn't it? And she denounced him as a grubby little sexist sales wanker, which is lucky for me, because she doesn't actually exist. She's merely a narrative device in order to help you on to the next bit. 3 blokes go into a pub. Alright? I say 3. Could be 4 or 5. Could be 9 or 10, doesn't matter. Could be 15. 20, I don't mind. 50. Round it up, 100. Let's go mad, eh? 250, go on. Tell you what, double it up, 500. 1,000, oh, I've gone mad, 2,000. 5,000, I tell you what, 5,000, everyone 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 6,000, 10,000. Pick a small town in Hertfordshire, because in a pub. 15,000 blokes. Alright, let's go. Population of Rotterdam, alright? Rotterdam, The Hague, whole of Northern Holland. Mainland UK, alright? Let's go all the way to the top, Europe, alright? Whole of Europe goes in, I say Europe. Could be Eurasia, couldn't it? Not bad, obviously, that's just 2 of them. Alright, continents, North America, plus South America, plus Antarctica. That's just 8 blokes in a weather station. That's not a very good example. Right, okay. Make it a lot simpler. All the blokes in the planet go into the pub. First bloke goes out the bar, he says, I'll get these in. What an idiot. And the barman says, that'll be £8.4 billion, please. He says, you still doing food? Bloke's a bit stupid like that. Because I was reading an article in Marie Claire, right? Now, I didn't buy it, found it, right? There's an article in there, and it said that women are much better at talking about their emotions than men, right? They're much more articulate. And men, when we try and talk about, you know, all the love and all, and you know, all that. You know what I mean? But apparently we can't say, you know, all the, you know, I love you, you know, you go in and I, you know, respect and all in a relationship like that. Do you know what I mean? Apparently we can't say, all, you know, I love you and all like that. Do you know what I mean? It's bollocks, isn't it? You know? Because I'm actually currently redesigning my flat at the moment. I've gone for the postmodern bloke coming back from the pub look. Very simple design, a lot of padding. And you sort of bounce off the side of the corridor as you're going in, and then you go through the door and you go through a little infrared beam. It turns the lights on and a little voice says, you are in. And I go, oh, I'm in, I'm in, I'm in, I'm alright, I'm in. Right, oh, busting for a piece. Oh, there's a urinal in the hall. There you are, urinal in the hall. Stick there, something on. Little handle there, hold on. There's a little shelf there with some nibbles on it. Oh, brilliant. Oh. And little pièce de résistance, there's a little mirror there, except it's not a mirror, it's a photograph of me when I was 19. I look at it and I go, yeah, still looking good. Now, I'm a big fan of theme tunes, me, and there's some that I think that have been severely overlooked for major cult status, right? And this is one of them. This is one of my favourites. This is a belter. Welcome to the snooker. They always fade it out there, don't they? Welcome to the snooker. No, what are you doing? Don't fade it out. What are you doing? Imagine the bloke in the studio just getting into it and they go, right, that's enough, thanks mate. And they go, no, I want to do the solo. No. Welcome to the snooker. No. Stop the snooker. I want to watch the bloody snooker. Play the rest of the track. Go on, play it. They never ever play it. I'm shouting at the TV, play the rest of the track. Got shots out of Dixon for that. The reason they don't play it, I'll tell you, the reason they don't play it is because after that it goes like this, it goes... Like that, Nirvana never wrote that, no, David Vine or Ron Pickering wrote that. Yeah, drunk out their minds, the Sheffield Crucible, hey! It's a totally different song as well. It goes like this. He goes, White can do this, he's just able, because there's 13 left on the table. Let's do the song. Little tip for you, never do powerful hallucinogenics and go to the supermarket, right? Never do that. Because you stand out. You may not think you do, but you do. I thought I was just shopping, but apparently I was stroking the aubergines at 4.5 hours. Little beauties, get some peas as a hostage, whoa, get it, walk away from the carrot, drop the carrot, stop, hey, whoa, 4.5 hours, got a laugh like that. And then the manager came up and said, excuse me, we're closing. And I said, look at that, what do you think? Starfish! New gladiators character, starfish! And he just got security. But the thing is, shopping I find very stressful, you know, I find very stressful. I was trying to buy some bin liners the other day, and on the packet it said suitable for most dustbins. And I thought, well, what dustbins is it not suitable for, eh? Tall, thin ones like a pipe, like that. Big, wide ones made out of jelly. Big jelly ones, whipping them out like jelly on a plate. Wibble, wobble, wibble, wobble, jelly on a plate like that on the back of a giant pig. And then I realised I was saying all this out loud. Attracted a small crowd. Not me, I'm trying the man with the justice hat on, talking to himself. And I ran off at the park to be with my mates, the squirrels. I don't know if you know, squirrels, big dopeheads. Oh yeah, you watch a squirrel in the park, you think he's nibbling on a nut. No, he's actually running a little joint like that, like. And you catch their eye, they get all paranoid, they start quivering, and I go, these rumble the signs, up the trees, up the trees! Alright, 2 blokes go into the pub. I say 2. It was actually a 3-bloke joke. So, they have to wait till the other bloke turns up before they start the show. So they have a couple of light ales, ploughmans, you know. And after a while this woman comes over and says, perhaps I can help out. And they said, well, actually, it is a 3-bloke joke. 2 blokes and a woman, it's not really going to work out. And the woman said, actually, I am a bloke. I'm waiting for a transvestite innuendo routine, hasn't turned up yet. And they said, oh, thanks very much. So they went out to the pub, started the joke. So, 3 blokes going to a pub. I say 3. One of them's actually dressed as a woman, but technically he's a bloke underneath, so on paper we're all right. So, 3 blokes go to the pub, and they go to the pub, and the first bloke they meet is the bloke that's meant to be doing the joke in the first place. And he comes running in like that, all late, like, sorry mate, sorry mate. They go, what are you doing? We had to start the joke without you. And he said, sorry, I'm sorry. And he said, who's this woman? He said, it's not a woman, it's a bloke who very kindly agreed to help out. Why were you late? And he goes, well, I was in a shaggy dog story. The bloke spun it out, milked it, I couldn't get away. And he said, will you sit down and shut up, right? Anyway, and he said, you're not going to chuck me out the joke, are you? I've been doing this 3rd bloke and the 3 blokes going to the pub joke for the last 20 years. You can't chuck me out like that. They said, look, we are chucking you out, and sit down and shut up. And he goes, what, chuck me out, no clock, nothing? And they go, no, just sit down and shut up. So they carried on with the joke. So, first bloke goes at the bar, and the bloke started heckling. He went, heard it! And he said, will you shut up, right? Of course you've heard it, you've been here for 20 years. And he said, right. And he pulls a gun out and says, I'm hijacking this whole routine. We're going on a surrealist ramble. And he said, you idiot, by pulling that gun out, you've already placed us on a surrealist ramble. You're trying to hijack yourself to where we already are. We're now trapped. We're in Gibbs' paradox. We're in a self-defeating 2-dimensional continuum. We can no longer justify our own existence. But as he said that, they began to melt and their words faded to a delicate hanging cadence. Still, the old ones, I bet say. See, people say you shouldn't do powerful hallucinogenics, right? But great artists and writers over the years have expanded their mind to try and reach a high level of consciousness. Because we only use 10% of our brain capacity. Science tells us we only use 10% of our brain potential. 10%, and when they say we, who do they mean by we? I mean, who is we? I mean, surely a genius like Stephen Hawking, he's about 30-40%. So all the rest of us dragging the average down, isn't it? You know, I mean, what's an average day? Bumble around, come home, prepare a rudimentary snack, do the lottery, talk about a soap opera, what's that, 1% tops, you know? But great artists, you know, like Aldous Huxley experimented with the drug mescaline and chronicled his experiences in the book The Doors of Perception. Mind you, that's not the first thing he wrote after he took the drug. The first thing he wrote was, my brain is melting 4,000 times. But it was the book the critics latched onto, you know. But imagine that, if I can give you an analogy, right? Imagine, say our brains are vast factories full of state-of-the-art equipment, right? State-of-the-art, fantastic equipment, right? At the moment, the only sign of life on there in the moment is the light on in the warm pie shelf in the canteen, like that. Just a dim glimmer, yeah. Like that. I mean, Stephen Hawking's probably got the jukebox on, people playing gaming machines, pies, all chip-frat on and everything. You know, what are we going to do, you see? I mean, you know, if we don't use the rest of our brains, after a while Mother Nature will step in and say, look, if you're not going to use it, I'm afraid I'm going to withdraw the right for the other 90%. So our brains will shrink down to the 10% we actually use, and our heads will have to shrink down to incorporate it. We'll have tiny little heads, a few hundred years' time, tiny little head like that, one massive eye. This arm will have developed one long finger, working the remote, the microwave, and pointing at menus. And this arm will have developed into a large, wide tray-like appendage to make it easy to eat takeaways in the street. And we'll have one giant tongue the size of a naan bread, like that. So we can eat the takeaway in one go, like that. Back to the day, beep. It's a nightmare vision, alright. It may not happen, alright. It is a bit scary, I know. I'll tell you what scares me, right, more than anything else. News at 10. That's terrifying, isn't it?